Hi, it's Kathy from Raven Vintage. Welcome back to my craft room. We are doing longer versions of some of the short reels that I did for the 100-day project when we did 100 days of envelope ideas. So as promised, I'm recreating some of those short videos into long form with some explanation. And today we are going to do day 7. If I have time, I'll do day 8 also, but day 7 was stamped and day 8 is a folio. So when I did the stamping, I did a spread. So let's just pick a spot here. And we did something on the left and something on the right. Kind of, I just need to check space, that's the thing. Oh, this is going to be perfect right here. So let me grab something. Let me get my bee. And I'm just going to hold those closed like that. Okay, great. So what I want to do, I have these ratty old envelopes. I'm going to use this one. I'm going to snug this one over top of it, the smaller one. I'll give you the measurements in a second. They're going to go on this side, and they will both open this way to hold ephemera like that. I will cut that to match. We'll put some paper in there. And then on this side, I had an envelope that just stayed open like this with, I did an insert. I'm probably out of screen, sorry. Insert in here. However, it was much smaller. This is quite large, so let me just rethink this for a second. Will this one fit? But it's not pointed, so that's no fun. What about this idea? Oops. Don't really like this. No, I think I'm gonna stick with my original plan, and I will just make that envelope smaller. So let's start with these two. So the first thing I did was on the envelope on the bottom, I just simply covered it with my script stamp. Today I'm going to do I'm going to try to stick with these neutral colors. I like navy on top of vintage photo. Let me grab my darkest blue. I have this one called Faded Jeans. And something I like to use with this color combination is the rust. This one's called Rusty Hinge. It's just I like that color combination. It looks really good. Okay. So I think I want to do the text in the Rusty Hinge. We're going to cover the whole front of the envelope. And this isn't quite, just trying to check it for size. Yeah, I'll go this way a couple of times. This, that, and then let's check that. So this is just kind of what's peeking through around the edges. So just a little bit of text like that. I think that's pretty. And then I'm going to do, I have this, what's it called? I forget. It's a vine of some sort. It's just a nice large stamp is why I chose it. And I will use that vintage photo on that one. And then on here we'll do, I'm sure this is not the right way to do this, but I don't mind if it's a little faded, actually. That's probably good. Okay, and we'll just, not sure if it goes this way or this way. I'm going to guess it goes that way. Over top. And then I use, in the video that I did, the reel, I did a little bird, but I think today I'm going to do the owl. to go with our little theme of our Let's Ask Autumn. Perfect. This one's Faded Jeans. And then I just took this fella and centered him like that. So let's see how those colors look together. I quite like that. I think I'm going to ink my edges here with the rusty hinge just to give it a little bit of a border. There, let's see what that looks like. Nice. And now I'm going to do the opposite. I'll use Vintage Photo and ink the edges of that. Even though the colors are similar, they're different enough that we get a little bit of depth to that. So it's still very neutral, just a very faint little text. And then on top of the tea dyed paper, let me get myself straightened out here. On top of the tea dyed paper, that is sometimes neutrals are the most beautiful things if we just leave them alone and don't overdo. Okay, so we're going to do that. So see how pretty that is on here? And then we'll pick up that blue again, of course, over on this side. I love that. Okay, now what I want to do back here, first thing I'm going to do is glue the flap of the small envelope to here, to the back of this envelope. And then that kind of centered like that. And then I'm going to trim that edge, trim that edge, so that when you open that up, we see this envelope, then this envelope, and that's it. But I do want to put something inside this. And again, let's stick with something neutral. So I'm just going to perhaps take this text. This would be perfect. So let's trace that out, cut that. Sorry, what time is it? It's after 4 p.m. so the sun is on the other side of the house now. Let me see if I can put a little bit of light here. I want to film this though because tomorrow is our shopping day. Girls day out. We're gonna have so much fun. I wish you could all be there. And then I won't be home to do any filming tomorrow, so I thought I'll film this one ahead of time and get it set to post in the morning, or to air in the morning. I still don't have a regular schedule for coming on YouTube, and I really don't want to commit to something and then not be able to stick with it. So, but I am planning on being here more often now that be spending more time indoors, kids are back in school. And then likewise this Friday, it's a PA day already. kids are off school, so I will be babysitting my granddaughters this Friday. So I won't be filming on Friday either. So nothing on Friday. So maybe what I should do then is, I'm thinking out loud here, I should do these as 2 separate videos, do the folio so I can post it on Friday. That might be a good idea. That's already an old vintage envelope, but that's okay. All right, let's move our B. And we're going to, see, isn't that nice? Just neutrals on neutrals with just a little pop of blue. I like that. So that's what I did. And I think actually in the video, the reel, I trimmed that so that it was a straight edge, but I was working with different envelopes too at the time. So let's just get these down. Now I'm gluing the entire flap bundle here. All right. Yeah. So sometimes less is more, right? We all know that. So just a little bit of the script font and 2 colors that are close, but just a little bit different. So the rusty hinge, it's kind of glowing behind this sepia tone. That looks really good. And then I edged it with this top envelope with the rusty hinge, and I really like the way that looks. Okay, so now we're going to put something over here. It's going to make this one a little more narrow. This is a smaller envelope. Oh. Get rid of that. Okay, let's see. Oh, that's going to fit just fine. It's a little crooked, but, and now before I glue the sides down, I'll just glue my paper on there. Again, I would like something neutral. I guess this like kind of advertisement thing is probably good. Let's see if it's wide enough. A little short, but let's revisit this blue idea. So if that, how much of them would show? Let's do this. Let's do this. Well, let's just do a rough cut first, and then we'll glue it on and trim it after. That makes sense. Okay. This will work better with it open. Oh yeah, I guess it is getting a little dark all of a sudden. Sorry about that. Put a little more light on. That better? There. Oh my goodness. Really having a day, aren't I? There we go. Not straight at all. Doesn't matter. Will it still close? Just might need to trim that off a little. Okay. So from this side, I'm going to trim around to the, see how crooked my envelope is though? There, problem solved. Everything's fixable in junk journals. Be gone. There. You'd never know. You'd never know Kathy was having an off day with my cutting. Okay, let's trim that off too. I just want to make sure that folds up okay. And that's going to bother me because no one will see that, but I'll know. Let's just try to make it nicer. There we go. There we go. All right. Now we can glue our envelope closed like this. It's really not a very pretty envelope, is it? But I want to stamp it, so hopefully that will just kind of disappear. All right, so let's close our sides. Like that. Okay, and all right, so what I want to do, like I was saying, I want to do another light stamping. I think we'll go for the text this time, and I think I'll do the vintage photo, and I just want it to be kind of random. So a little bit like that, a little bit there, a little bit there, maybe a little more here. That, okay. And then I want to stamp my little owl on the navy, but he needs to be sitting on something like elevated with something, nothing crazy. Let's try, right, like even that is fine. So let me put him on here first in the navy. Perfect. Let me see what the 2-inch circle punch looks like. If I can get close enough. A little closer. That's gonna work just fine. Get rid of that. Just gonna get a little closer. And how do we like him like that? That looks good. Okay. There we go. It's something I'm going to be looking for tomorrow when I'm at that private sales to see what she has for punches, actually. Different shapes. I know she had some. Like the page edge ones, that sort of thing. Okay, now let's frame this in the... I could do the navy, but I want to do this rusty hinge again. And let's try putting something behind this, like, what about some cheesecloth or something? Yeah, let me grab some cheesecloth. Just 1 second. This. Let's see what a little bit of navy blue does, or the faded jeans ink does with this. How big of a piece do I need? I'm gonna rough chop that. Okay, let's see. This is the blue right here. Let me see what I can do with that. That's fun. That. I like that. Okay. And Mr. Glue, where'd you go? Right here. Just guessing where that's going to be. And then this gal. Let's do this. So stamping was day 7. Put this back, and that was on the opposite page. So I've mimicked my little guy over there. Some of that ink is coming through from the cheesecloth. Look at that, it's seeping through. That's kind of neat. I like that. And now I want to add some of this blue over here too. Okay, so let's ink our edges in the, we talked about doing this rusty hinge. Just a little different look. Yeah, I like that very much. And then we'll have to pick out just the right ephemera for this. I don't have a feeling the stuff I have already made is a little big, but we'll see. There, that looks great. I like that. I like that very much. I should use that rusty hinge more often. Oops, I'm going to use that. I think I'm done with you. Okay, I'm done with the owl. Let's get this glued down. Some people use their stamps all the time. I need to remind myself to use my stamps. I think if you're a card maker, turn junk journaler, or do both crafts, I think you probably think of it way more often. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I just don't think of using my stamps as often as I should. Okay, so let's pull this blue over here somehow. It doesn't have to be the whole thing. I can just use these cut off bits actually. Maybe something like that with a brad coming from underneath perhaps. Yeah, let's do that. So let's see if we can ink these up. Kind of a mess we can make. Let's do a little mix of colors. Let's try that rusty hinge. Oh, that's neat. I'm sure there is a much better way to do this, but That is kind of a neat little nest looking thing. And then I'm just going to do this corner. Can you see me? Just going to add a little glue patch there. And I'm going to add these pieces bit by bit. Just put this underneath for now. Just a little something sticking out there. I think that's I like that very much. Just a little something. Okay, so that is day 7 with stamping. Just a reminder to get those stamps out, use different colors, don't always have to go crazy bold, and of course there's room for ephemera in these. Ledger put in there. Kind of like her in there. That. Very nice. Yeah, so you just have a little bit of the blue peeking through once you add but then when you pull it out, it's still an interesting pocket. We have a couple things in there. Okay, I'm pretty pleased with that for a simple, easy, quick project. So again, I used the script. This one's from Michaels. It's a Recollections brand. This one I believe is a Stampin' Up. I think it is. I'm not entirely sure. I know I bought it at an antique store in one of those big what do you call it? Yeah, it came in a Stampin' Up box. I don't know that that's the brand it is for sure, but it says Lovely Vines on here. So that could just be, but I did buy that at an antique store just like that. So I'm not entirely sure if that is the brand. It doesn't seem to say anything on the stamp itself. It may have at one time, but I'm not really sure. There, and then that, and then I used my owl. And the owl, again, that came from Michaels. It was a pack with the fox, the rabbit, and the owl. So that's what I used. And the colors again were Faded Jeans for the blue, Vintage Photo of course, and this Rusty Hinge I used. And the only other thing we used was a little bit of cheesecloth. Okay, and just a reminder that if your envelopes don't fit, you can resize them by cutting the edges off and re-gluing your sides. All right, that was a fun little quickie project. That's cute in this little journal. I like it. And the next one coming up then will be the folio. Okay, and for that one, you're going to need 3 envelopes that are the same size. Okay, I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.